I'm Kathleen. This is Kathleen's Trodden Trail. Welcome to my floss-tube video. I always forget to look. I think it's number, is it 87 or 88 or something like that? I don't know. I'll figure it out before I post this and include it in the title, but it's right up there, close to 90. Today is Tuesday, the 10th of August. No, I feel like it's the 11th of August. I don't know. It's the 10th or 11th of August, and it is Tuesday afternoon, about 2:30, and I'm finally taking the time to sit down and do a video. So it's been, I don't know, like 6 weeks or something since the last time I posted a video, and I said that I would try to come back every couple weeks, and, you know, I just need to stop saying that because it never seems to happen. It's not even that life has been all that busy. We've had a little bit of travel, a little bit of, you know, life events, family events going on, but not a ton. I've just mostly been doing a lot of cross-stitching and some rug hooking now, just today, and some needlepoint and just keeping busy, keeping really, really busy. The chickens are keeping me very busy. It's been super, super hot here. In fact, I just went out to give the chickens a watermelon popsicle, which is just a tray of frozen water with watermelon, cut up watermelon in it. And because it is, I don't know, like 93 degrees, and the feel like temperature with the humidity and the heat index is 105 or 107, something like that. We had a little bit of a reprieve from the heat a few days and got a little bit of rain, and now it's hot again until at least Thursday, including Thursday. So today, tomorrow, and Thursday, I think we're under excessive heat warnings. I find it very oppressive. I think I mentioned that before. I'm not a summer person. I love to be outside, but I don't like to be uncomfortable. And I feel like with, you know, cold, even extreme cold, you can bundle up against the cold and still spend time outside. But with the heat, there's only so much you can take off. And even then, in your lightest clothes, it's just 105 is still 105. I mean, it's just, and the humidity, and I don't think 105, whether it's humid or dry. I grew up in Colorado, and people would say, and we'd have maybe like 2 days of 100, and they've had a lot of really hot weather there too this year. But growing up, it seemed like we never had more than 1 or 2 days the entire summer of above 90 or 95. But people would say, oh, but it's a dry heat. I do think humidity makes the heat worse and maybe more oppressive. I sort of feel like I can't breathe when I go outside when it's this humid. But once you get up into the upper 90s and hundreds, it's what difference really does it make if it's dry or humid or whatever. So I'm just trying to avoid it. Because chickens do well. The chickens that we have 3 different breeds of chickens, and they all do well in heat and cold. But anything over about 90, 95 degrees is still pretty hot for them. And the water needs to be, chickens won't drink, and all of this is new to me, but chickens won't drink warm water. So I have multiple water containers out there for them, but they get warm. I try to keep them in the shade, so I go out and move them throughout the day to different shady spots. But when it's 105 for several hours, the water gets warm, and then the chickens won't drink. So then I'm emptying that water, and I'm trying really, because I just feel like between the chickens and the dogs and us with multiple showers a day and the garden and the flowers, we're going through a lot of water. So I'm trying to conserve water. If I'm emptying out a warm water container for the chickens, I put it in one of the flower pots to water the flowers, and then I don't water those flowers later in the evening. And so, but anyway, so I'm spending a lot of time outside, for brief periods, not like I'm out there for hours on end, but for brief periods, several times a day, moving the waters around, freshening up the waters, taking them out ice, making sure that I've moved the tarp to keep them shaded. We have lots of trees back there, and there are several really nice shady spots for them, but then as the sun sort of moves around to the west, there's several hours a day between now and about 5 o'clock where they don't get a whole lot of shade, because the sun's on the other side of the trees coming this way towards the trees, so the trees just aren't able to provide a whole lot of protection. So, and I was just out right before I started filming it. I was out for like 3 minutes, and I just drenched. It's so hot. Anyway, I have a ton of stuff to show you today and talk about, and I'm in a recliner, partially reclined, trying to get the best view for this, which is really not very good unless I really hold my head out. Trying to get the best view. I have some glare behind me, and I'm really sorry. I really tried to figure it out to kind of avoid. I might be able to turn a little bit more this way, and then you see that there. That's a little bit better for that glare. I have a box sitting next to me. I'm going to start with Happy Mail. So I don't know if you remember, but not this past February, but 2 Februaries ago, I met my sweet friend Susie Reno up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which is about a halfway point between me and her. And we met up there for a little kind of one-on-one stitchy retreat. And originally the plan was we'd meet there. It's halfway. We'd spend some time with Maddie. That's where Maddie's in school. And, just have a few days and be lovely. Well, by the time we got the plans made, Maddie was in Australia when we were there, and it was right before COVID hit. And so luckily we were able to get up and, didn't really even know a whole lot about COVID at that point. And then, a month later, craziness happened. The plan was to do that every year. And of course, last year we made the decision, no, better not try it. We tried to move it to April. April didn't work. So we moved it to the last weekend in July. And then my mother-in-law's funeral ended up getting planned for that. My mother-in-law passed away in October, but due to COVID restrictions, we couldn't have her interment and her funeral services until now. And so I, once again, wasn't able to make it. However, while we were in Sioux Falls the first time, Susie and I realized that we had a mutual friend that we didn't quite know, Marcy Thiessen. And so we invited her to come, and so Susie and Marcy were able to meet, and that last weekend in July, and just had a lovely time. And it was really, really sad that I couldn't be there, but it is what it is. Next year, crossing my fingers. But anyway, I had sent up a box of things for them, and of course Susie sent something for me, and I know that I'm getting a box from Marcy as well. So I was kind of blown away, and I very, very overwhelmed by the loveliness of all the gifts in here. And we just do little fun stuff, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, you know how we are with friends, especially stitchy friends, and what is it about getting a stitching gift from a friend who stitches? It's like the greatest thing ever. I mean, it's just so neat. And I had wanted to make this so badly this past February. Susie let me know that the box was coming, and she said, we were going to meet in February, so mine is very Valentine themed. But so love is kind. So I know this is a hands-on design. I think this is this year's freebie or last year's freebie that Kathy does. And look at that. And the color isn't showing up the best. It's kind of a reddish pink, pinkish red fabric. And then she put a little wool heart on the back, and just the sweetest. That may be a little bit Valentine theme, but that will stay out year round. I will find a home for that. There's all kinds of goodies in here. I'm excited. I want to show you this so that I can get some of these things set up, because I've been kind of holding it to the side until I can show you. A little jar with ricin. I think ricin, is that how you say it? R-I-E-S-E-N. I think they're caramels in there, but I love these little, I don't know what you call these kind of jars, but I will fill this with buttons most likely, maybe pins, but probably buttons. And I'm gonna put that, I have a new, I don't know if I'm gonna insert the pictures before or after the video, but I have a new piece of antique furniture. I actually have a couple of new pieces of antique furniture. And that's the other thing that we've been busy doing, is sort of rearranging, and we got new carpet, and so we've kind of been rearranging and doing a few little odds and ends with some new furniture that we got. But this is gonna go, this jar will go on that, one of the new pieces of, it's actually a baker's cabinet, and yeah, so I'm excited to put that there. This is a little, it's called Sweet Sewing Girl Essential by the Needle Company. I think that's right. And it's just a little, I need to put it together, do the wool applique. It's a little all-inclusive, a little needle book that you make up, and Susie put that in there, and so I'm excited to get that made up, and that'll sit by my stitching chair. This is my stitching chair, by the way. I've been having a lot of fun seeing people's, what is it, the common thread stitcher, I don't quite know who started it or what it is, but on Instagram people are posting several days worth of photos of where they stitch and what their traveling stitching looks like, and it's really cool. I've been really enjoying seeing different things like that from people, because it's really fun to see where people typically stitch. Now I'll stitch, I kind of have 3 stitching spots. This is mostly where I am. I'm in the family room, and the TV's that way, and I kind of do during the day. If I stitch during the day, if I'm able to, and usually there are a couple days a week that I'm able to spend a good part of the day doing something, you know, stitching, quilting, rug cooking, what have you. But if I'm in here during the day, a lot of times I'll be listening to a book on tape. Occasionally, sometimes I'll watch Floss Tube, and every once in a while I'll watch a movie. Sometimes I'm just in the mood for an old movie, but generally here. And then I have another stitchy spot in kind of the front room that looks out the windows, the front windows, and so I can stitch in there, or I have a spot in our bedroom that I can stitch as well. So this is another just sweet thing, and I don't know, Susie may have made this, I'm not sure. I almost feel like she did. But just a sweet little pouch. I need a new pouch for my rug hooking hooks, and so this is going to be perfect. It says, "What sunshine is to flowers, smiles are to humanity." Isn't that sweet? I love that. A set of note cards that says, find the joy of my life in everyday life. I love those. Aren't they pretty? And I do send out mail. And then a notepad. You can always use a cute notepad. And then there was my very favorite candy, which Susie got me hooked on when we went to Sioux Falls the first time, and it's I think they're called Bueno bars, and I haven't eaten it yet, but I have it up in a special spot away from the dog because Bindi will scope out a candy bar faster than anything. And so I have to have it, make sure that if I have this box sitting around, I can't have any food in it. Thank you, Susie. That was awesome. I made my day yesterday, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate all of it. So that was that. I've also gotten some really, just little, note cards and cute, fun cards and postcards from different friends, and I just absolutely I love getting things in the mail. Just a little note. Sweet Daleen sent me the cutest. I think they're Swedish dishcloths. They're the ones that feel hard, and they come, like solid, and then once you get them wet, they soften up, and they're great dishcloths. And it has 2 chickens on it, and honestly, it is too pretty to use. I am going to find a way to display it because it's just too pretty to use. So lots of fun stuff, and yeah. Okay. I have been on a terrible buying streak. Most of what I've bought are PDFs, but I don't know. I have seen and I have been inspired by so many different things recently, and it needs to stop because now it's just, to the point where it's just overwhelming and I'm just buying way too much. However, who was I watching? Oh, The Proper Stitcher, Annie, The Proper Stitcher. And, it's funny how occasionally somebody will just kind of mention something off the cuff, and it's like, it kind of, turns the light bulb. I guess that's called a light bulb moment, but it kind of turns the light bulb on, or it lights a little fire, or it just catches you, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's what I want to do. So at Christmas time, we typically put up anywhere between 4 and 8 trees. Now, 2 of those are typically a tree in Ryan's room and a tree in Maddie's room. Ryan has his own house now, so if we put a tree up for him, it will be at his house. And I think Maddie will be home for Christmas, hopefully for a few weeks, and so I would assume that we'll put a tree up in her room. But Ryan's room we're going to turn into the guest bedroom, and we will have company before Christmas. So I think that we may well put a tree in there anyway, but we'll see. They both have really, really large bedrooms, and one of the things I need to think about is potentially moving my sewing room into Ryan's room and making my sewing room the guest bedroom. But I don't know. I haven't decided on that yet. Still haven't bought the long arm. Still kind of weighing the pros and cons and deciding where I would put it and kind of how I would, so we'll see about that. But still, it'll happen. It's just a matter of when and kind of how I'll, where I'll put it. But then we usually put a tree in the front room, a tree in the family room, a tree in the dining room, and they're not huge trees. The family room and the front room trees are real big. The one in the family room, we have vaulted ceilings in here. It used to be in the entryway of our old house where the ceiling was vaulted. I think it's 9 feet. Does that sound about right? It was a really tall tree, and some friends had given it to us. They bought it, and it didn't fit in their house, and so they happened to be over one night, and they're like, "Hey, that tree we bought, it would fit in here," and so they gave it to us. But I have a spot in my kitchen that would fit a tree, and I never really thought about putting a tree in there because in our old kitchen there was no room for a tree. And I was watching Annie, the Proper Stitcher, and she mentioned that she has a tree in her kitchen decorated with food ornaments or food-related ornaments. And it just triggered this thing. So I went online and I went to Etsy and I went to Frosted Pumpkin and all these different places, and I searched for Christmas ornaments that have food in them. So gingerbread men, peppermint sticks, hot cocoa, cups of tea, anything food or drink related. And I found a whole bunch. I found a couple of large patterns that I just planned to take small motifs from. So that was a big part of my recent buying. So I don't feel too bad about that. I also joined, and I'll show you here in a second, the Shannon Christine Halloween Ornament Club. After seeing Pam stitching between the lines, seeing her finishes of the Christmas ornaments, which I had seen the advert, I'd kind of seen them online, and I thought they were cute, but when I saw her finishes, so I got both sets of those, the Shannon Christine Christmas ornaments from last Christmas, and then I joined the club for Halloween. And so a lot of those, I'm looking at my iPad at Notes Pro where I keep my PDF charts. Like I bought the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Christmas, what is this called? Christmas on Gingerbread Lane. Now and it looks like that. I probably won't do that as a whole. I won't. But I might take the houses and do each of the houses as an individual ornament to hang on that tree in the kitchen. I don't have a tree yet for the kitchen, but I'll be on the lookout here. See, that's so cute. I mean, that's really not my Christmas style, but just to have a whole tree filled with, that sort of thing. So that's been a lot of my purchases, but I've also bought a lot of samplers. I really love Whilst Iris Naps, and she came out with a new sampler that I bought, and then I bought several others. I also found a new designer. Her name is, her name is Whistle Stop Stitcher, and I'm pretty sure she's on Etsy, and I don't remember how I found out about her. And I'll show you a work in progress that I started of hers. But I bought, this is called Chester's Place, and it says, until one has loved an animal, a part of one's soul remains unawakened. And it's really, isn't that sweet? I love that red house with all those windows. And then I also bought Winter at Whistle Stop. It says there's no place like home for the holidays. And I love that. White house with a red roof and Santa. Look at the Santa and the reindeer at the top. Ugh. And then I bought one more from her that I'm working on that I'll show you. So just kind of a variety of different things. But anyway, just a ridiculous, an absolute... Hedgerow Stitching is another one I found. She has this sweet little sampler, Jane Thwaites 1828. Oh, bad glare. That's the original. I think that's the original. Isn't that pretty? Just simple, and I love red, something that has a ton of red in it. I always think I'm a blue person. I always think that blue is my favorite color, and I think it is. But, boy, red gets me in a sampler. Anyway, I was watching Ingeborg the other day, A Stitch Too Far, and she talked about the Heritage, or was it Heritage? No, I can't remember what the pattern was, or what the name of the pattern was. But she was doing kind of darning samplers, or she had done a darning sampler, and she had another one that she was getting ready to start. And it was so cool. And so I went online, and I wasn't able to find the one that she had done, but I found several. And then I found an Afghan by a company that also had charted some darning samplers. And it's called She Loves Me Not Afghan. And I love that. It's a hexi Afghan, which I think I've done one hexi Afghan long time ago before I started doing floss tube. So I've also been very much into Halloween, and I found several cute Halloween patterns. Twin Peak Primitives, I'm pretty sure this is a freebie. It's called There Is No Magic. How stinking cute is that? If you go to Twin Peak Primitives freebies, they have quite a few. And I always feel like if you're going to take advantage of the freebies, it's probably the nice thing to do and the right thing to do to buy at least one or two of their charts. And I do buy a lot of Twin Peak Primitives charts, so I felt okay about that. So there's just any number of different things on here that I've purchased in the last few weeks, and, it is what it is. Now, some hard copy, a few hard copy things. These came from, I was watching Laura and Brenda the other day, and Brenda and the Cereal Starter, and they talked about Victorian Rose Needle Arts and how awesome their customer service is. And in particular, this one pattern, it's called ABCD Fleurs, and it is a very simple redwork sampler, but it has a train at the bottom of it. And my father-in-law is a train guy, loves trains, and I'm always looking for something fairly simple that I can stitch him with a train. And I think I may do the whole sampler for him, or I will do the whole sampler for me eventually. I may just stitch the train for him and turn it into an ornament, because that train is really, it's got a lot of detail in it. And I don't have to do it red. I could do it, a gray or a black or deep blue or something like that. But I just thought that train was so neat. So, of course, while I was there, and because no pattern can travel alone, I also found this Birds of a Feather. This is Bloom Where You Are Planted. I feel like Susie Reno has this on her sampler wall. I know she has at least, if not this one, a similar one. I love all the Birds of a Feather pattern. Oh, and I didn't bring that over. I've also been working when we traveled. I usually take needlepoint when we travel. It's just easier. And I took my Birds of a Feather little pumpkin girl, and so that's coming right along. And then I have looked at this chart forever and almost bought it, put it in my cart, taken it out of my cart. I finally pulled the trigger on it. So it's Barbara Anna Designs, All Creatures Great and Small. You've seen it. I'm not going to take it out of the paper. I did not kit it up because tomorrow Colleen and I are going to meet at Reflections and get to see Julie. We haven't seen Julie in a really long time, so we're going to meet out there and get to see her, and I thought I would kit it up then tomorrow. And this can just be a long-term, I feel like this is one of those ones that you do a motif and a little bit of the border, and if you do that, every few days a week, you can get this done. I mean, this is not that overwhelming. So many people have done it, and it's just gorgeous, and I just absolutely love it. Okay, works in progress. These are in no particular order. I have a light over here just because I looked really grainy before I turned the light on, and now the light wants to fall over because I moved it off the stand it's on. These are in no particular order. What is this one? Okay, let me find it on here because I told you I wouldn't not have pictures before. This is another one that I had looked at. Christy at Finally a Farm Girl. I think it's Chrissy, not Christy. Chrissy at Finally a Farm Girl did the model stitching for this, and I saw it when she had finished it, and I knew I knew I had to stitch it. I love Thanksgiving. I know that Thanksgiving has gotten to be a little bit controversial. I understand that, and I want to respect that, and I know this probably wouldn't be everybody's cup of tea. I love Thanksgiving because to me it's about family. It's not about gifts. It's not about what am I going to get, or it's just family. It's traditional recipes. It's a really special holiday for me, and I am sort of fascinated with kind of our heritage and the colonies and the history behind it, and it's not all pretty. It's not all good. I understand that. I like Thanksgiving when it gives respect to the native people who lived here long before the white people came over. So anyway, this is a Twin Peak primitive. It's the first Thanksgiving. It looks like this. I think it's beautiful. I really love it. I love that the British flag is here as well as the American flag. I love that there is a pilgrim, a female pilgrim, and also a native woman here. I just love it. I think it's just so pretty and so outstanding. So of course I finally ordered it. I kind of had put it off for a while, and then I figured I would probably have most of the DMC, and I didn't. I mean, it just seemed like every color of DMC, but I have been ordering Victorian motto threads for a while now, and just kind of building up my collection of Victorian motto. And so I decided to go through and see how many of the Victorian motto threads I had, and I had all the right colors to do this. There are a few DMCs thrown in for colors that I didn't have. So those are my threads. There's some DMCs that haven't been put on floss drops yet. And here is my start on the first Thanksgiving. So I started, obviously, I should just show the pattern. Okay, so it's obviously, this is the house. This is where let's see. Is that right? Yeah, I'm on this side with that house. I'm sorry, this is really hard to see. And I have the beginning of Thanksgiving. And so those are all Victorian motto. And I think it's really beautiful. This will be another one. Obviously, this isn't going to be done in time for Thanksgiving, and I've just kind of been working on this here and there a little bit every day, and I think it's just beautiful. Okay, if you haven't heard of yet or watched Sew Me Sarah on FlossTube and also on Instagram, her name is Sarah. She lives in England. Nope. She lives in Northern Ireland. And she is number one, I could listen to her talk all day. Her accent is just, I love it. She occasionally will show pictures of Irish countryside, which is, my favorite place on the planet. But she is doing a stitch along, and I think I talked about this last time, with I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, Crochet a Go-Go, Italian designer, has a pattern called, I think it's, I never say it right. Let me find it, and then I can tell you exactly. I want to say it's a tempo, but I think it might be del tempo. No, and I think that might not be right either. Shoot. I ordered it quite a while back, so it's way down on my... So anyway, what it is it's a monthly stitch along. Well, it's a stitch along on these monthly patterns, and there's one small chart for every month. They're not complicated. They're not difficult. They're really cute and sweet. Pretty basic. And I thought I would do them and put them on, some kind of a board or whatever, and switch them out every month. And so the plan, you can do it any way you want, but the plan is to start with January and stitch January and August, and then, February and September, etc., etc. I don't know where it is on here. It's too far back. I can't find it's the very first one because it was the last thing I was working on. Okay. Crochet a Go-Go. It's La Finestra del Tempo. Which means calendar. I'm sure it means calendar year or something like that. I don't know. So they were released in three different parts, 4 months at a time. So this is January up here. And you can see it's a little penguin and a snowman and a skinny little house. And I thought this blue fabric would be so pretty for January. And there is my start with the little penguin, who is off because I apparently cannot count. And so one arm is longer than the other, and his body is one stitch too fat, but I was not taking it out. I started with a scarf. I actually didn't have any 310, and I had to go get 310 for his body, and so I started with his scarf, and I think I made the scarf one stitch too long, this going this way. Anyway, it's fine. I don't know if you can see, but the little cup says hot, little hot cocoa. And then this is the beginning of a really cute, skinny little snowman that's right there. So they're just, all I have left, to finish the snowman, I have a set of mittens to do and the little house to do. And the word January and some snowflakes. So, it'll go. I did most of this yesterday. So it'll go quickly. And yeah, I think doing one of those a month is very doable and should not be an issue. The problem with sitting here is I'm confined with the arm of the chair here and then a little kind of table that's here, and so I don't have room to spread my stuff out. I guess I can, if I go that way, then I'm not going to be able to show you that. Okay, so I mentioned the Shannon Christine Halloween ornaments. Those are being released 2 at a time. I think every 2 weeks, possibly once a month. I don't know if there are 8 or 10 of them, but the first 2 came. Actually, I don't know if these are the August ones that came. It started in July, and I was late to the party. So I don't know if these are the August ones or the July ones. I can't remember. I need to double check and see if I need to order the July ones, or maybe these are the July ones. No, this is how. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not sure. But there they are. Trick or treat and come in for a spell. And they're done in kind of fun and funky colors. I have a few of them. Oh my goodness. Niecy Lynn always does such a good job of that. So kind of fun and funky colors. So I wanted to find some really fun fabric to do it on, and so I went upstairs. I'm doing these as individual ornaments, but I'll just put them all on here and then I'll cut them apart. Anyway, I found this 32 count Winter Brew. Well, I guess I can show you the pattern. Winter Brew that Teresa Vanette Kitten Stitcher hand dyed, and I thought it was just perfect. And let me get the needle out of the way. Here is my start. And doesn't that look, my lighting is horrific this afternoon, but I love the way that looks. Each letter has 3 different greens in it. I didn't have some of the colors, so instead of, it called for like DMC like 7 something, and I didn't have it, but I found this Summer Green by Victorian Motto, and it's kind of a little acidy, poisony green, and that's not a very good. Let's see if you can see it against my shirt. Anyway, it looks really good, and these are a lot of fun and kind of something different than I normally stitch. So, yeah, that's kind of fun. I'm having a lot of fun with that. Okay, what's next? I was crafty before crafty was cool, or I was crafty when crafty wasn't cool. And these are bags. Oh, shoot. I will look it up and try to put it below, because the customer service on this was phenomenal. And I got a whole bunch. I mean, they're just the canvasy, plastic bags that you get on Amazon. And then she used a Cricut or whatever and personalized them. And her customer service was fantabulous. It was so good, and she was so sweet. Okay, the other thing I got from Whistle Stop Designs was Midnight at Raven Manor. So she kind of has a series of like holiday houses, and I think there was a Christmas one and a Halloween one. I can't remember if there was a summer one or not, but then there was the animal one. I thought this was really cool. Number one, I love the border, but a purple house, very different, but kind of cool for Halloween. And it's primitive, but it's different. It says the boundaries which divide life and death are at best shadowy and vague. Who shall say where the one ends and where the other begins? And I just thought there are lots of little that I didn't notice until I started stitching it. But there's a little ghost peeking out from behind the tree here. There's a figure in the window here. The witch, the moon, just kind of neat and very different. And I think this is also on a piece of no, I'm sorry. This is on a piece of Under the Sea Fabrics, 28 count Anubis, it's called. And it says it's 28 count. I don't know. It seems really small. I am doing it 2 over, and it's almost too much. I probably could have done it 1 over. Oh wait, I have a much better start than that. So there's my start, a little bit of the border, that tree, the little ghost sticking out behind, a little bit of the gate, and then the house, starting on the house. Now this is a pumpkin over here, and I think it's the only pumpkin on there. And it is supposed to be stitched. It is stitched in DMC. Oh, shoot. It's a DMC that almost is. I think I'm going to tell you that wrong. Let me see. It is supposed to be stitched in Classic Colorworks Tufted Yellow, or DMC 746, and I did not have tufted yellow, so this is DMC 746. So it's kind of, now it's the same as what the moon is supposed to be stitched in, so it's kind of, it's white with just a little tiny bit of yellow in it. And I might change that on the pumpkin and just add a little bit of orange, but I might just leave it. I don't know. Once we get the moon in, it'll probably be fine. And the stem on the pumpkin, so you can tell that's what it is. I was having a hard time putting this down. I started this on, I don't know, Saturday or Sunday, and I worked on it most of the weekend. Now the vultures, I think these are supposed to be vultures here in the tree. I stitched those wrong. Their heads were supposed to be done in purple, and I stitched them in white. So I'll probably change that out. But anyway, I just think it's fun. It's very different. I don't know. And this fabric is, ooh, it's really, of course, my light is not, but it's really nice fabric. It is, like I said, I don't think it's 28 count. Or if it is, it really shrank in the dye process, which is fine. And then the last thing that I worked on, and this is really just in the last couple of days, and I talked about this before. This is a freebie from Blackbird, and it's called Blackbird Singing, or I don't know if it even really has a name, but it's just Blackbird. Let's see if I can find this on here so I can show you the picture of, I can't show you the picture because it's just the chart. There is no picture because it's a freebie, but there's a blackbird here, and it just says Blackbird Singing in the Dead of Night, from the Beatles song. And just on a piece of random, I don't know, it's kind of, you're not seeing it, but it's got a lot of yellow in it. It's kind of a tufted yellow. I mean, it's kind of a white yellow, creamy yellow, buttery yellow. Maybe not buttery yellow, but anyway. So I just worked a little bit more up here, and I'm doing this 1/2 using Classic Colorworks Black Coffee. So that's kind of it for my whips. I have one more not stitched whip, but a rug. So I have been doing some wool applique. I've been making, and I wish I had some to show you. I've given away all the ones I've made. I need to make some for myself. I've been making sunflowers out of wool. Those are really fun. Kind of tedious, take a little while. But I was in at the rug cooking store, and I was looking for wool to make sunflowers, like actual wool sunflowers. And I thought, oh, do you have any rug cooking patterns with sunflowers on them? And so we went through all of her patterns that we thought might have them, and what we actually came upon was this rug by Not Forgotten Farms. This is an adaptation by Chris Miller of artwork by Lori Brecklin, through Not Forgotten Farms and Spruce Ridge Studios. So Chris Miller draws the rug pattern. She has permission from Lori Brecklin to adapt Lori's paintings, watercolor paintings, into rugs. So she draws the rugs, and then she sells them through Spruce Ridge / Not Forgotten Farms. So I don't quite know, but there's a lot of pieces there. But anyway, this is a pattern that I've long admired, and it's called Do Good, Be Nice. And I did another one very similar to this. It was the Full Witch, and we raffled it at I think it was the very first Midwest retreat. And Purple Stitcher, who you might know, Jennifer, won the raffle. And there were just a lot of weird coincidences, and then she won the raffle, and it literally, like, I was crying because she won the raffle. It was silly, but at any rate, she won the raffle, and she got the rug, and I was so happy because she wanted it so much. But I had so much fun hooking that, and so we saw this, and it has small sunflowers on it, and I'm going to make the sunflowers a little bit bigger and a little bit more prominent. I'm going to try to show you the whole thing, and what I've hooked so far today is the witch's face, which, yeah, I knew this was going to be really hard to show you. What I'll do is I'll take a picture and insert a picture of it so you can see the whole thing. But it's just kind of her face, a little bit of the top of her dress, her hat, and then some sunflowers. And it's called, she actually said, up here it actually says Do Good. Good spelled with an E on the end, kind of old-fashioned way. And see, there's like these fun sunflowers up here at the top. I'll show you. This is a picture. This is one of the things that I love the most about the Spruce Ridge Not Forgotten Farm rug patterns is they typically include a picture of the painting. And so there's the painting, and it's an adaptation, so they're usually a little bit different than the painting. So of course this one doesn't say do good at the, does it say do, oh it does, the painting does say do good at the top. I love it, it's so cool. And anyway, so I'm doing, my coloring is a little bit different. The witch's face, oh, it turned out, it's really hard to get a feel for it with this, but the color of wool that I used, it's a really thready, funky wool, and it's in the color corn husk, and so it's just got a little bit of a green tinge to it. Oh, I love her face, and she's a real pointy nose and a little mole down here. And then I'm doing her hair in 3 different colors of purple, pretty dark with a few little, she's got a few purple highlights there. And then her hat and her dress are black. And then the background is in, I think it's called Light Lunar Eclipse. And I've used this background on several rugs, and it's just going to be a real modelly light background. And then I'm actually going to use the wool that I bought for the sunflowers to make the sunflowers. I'm going to use that, and those are just really yellowy, buttery, goldy colors with some deep browns and some kind of poisony greens for the stems and the leaves. So I'll use that wool to hook that. And so I should have this done pretty quickly, but I'll insert a picture of the whole thing so you can get a better idea of what it looks like. So I think that's about it. I would love to say that I'll be back in a week or 2 or 3, but who's to say? We are supposed to go to Puerto Rico a week from Thursday. We leave, and we'll be there for 6 days, and so looking forward to that. I'm going to see Caitlin and Caleb and spend some time with them, and so looking forward to that. Only Maddie is going to be able to go with us. Ryan, he started his new job yesterday officially. He's been working up at the school really most of July, but he officially started work yesterday, and classes start for him on Thursday. So he's really looking forward to that, and so far loving every minute of it. And yeah, so that's really great. Maddie will be ready to go back to school. It's her senior year, so woohoo, I just paid the second to last tuition payment that I'll have to pay for college, so I'm super excited about that. And yeah, she's had a busy, fun summer doing lots of travel, and Caitlin and Caleb have been doing lots of travel, and so it's been, it's been good. The chickens are doing well. Still have not managed to integrate the 2 babies into the rest of the flock. The big girls are 15 weeks as of yesterday. The babies are 12 weeks as of yesterday. And there is less pecking and sort of chasing them when we do let them hang out together, but still enough that I don't feel comfortable letting them all hang out together alone. So I usually have to go mediate, and it's really sad. The little girls run to me and hide behind my legs. Or this morning I was bending over getting some water, and one of them literally hopped up on my neck in running from the big girls. So they're very attached to me. They're very scared of the big girls. And so right now we have them in a pen in the big chicken pen. They are sleeping together at night with no problems. So at night we let the big girls go up, and then I put the little girls on a roost up there, and the big girls are fine with it once it's dark and late, and I guess they can't see, and all is fine. So I don't know. I'm trying not to stress about it, because I'm sure eventually it'll all work out and be fine. But I feel bad because the little girls are in a small pen inside the big pen, so the big girls can see them but can't get to them. But it's a small pen, and they don't have room to run around. And I do go out and let them come out when I'm out there and they can have a little bit more space. Sometimes when we're out with them, we let the big girls free range and we put the little girls in the big pen. Sometimes we let them all free range together, and that generally goes okay, but sometimes the big girls still chase the little girls. So I've watched a million YouTube videos about it, and one of the suggestions was that generally there will be one chicken chasing the littler ones and segregate her out, kind of put her in timeout for a few days. But it's not just one. It is Edwina mostly, but it's also a couple of the others. And so, I don't know. And it also seems like if one starts to go after them, then the whole flock goes after them. I don't know. It's really hard. Raising chickens. Raising children is hard, whether they're humans or chickens. The dogs are fine. The cat is fine. Yeah, everything else is good. So I hope you're all well. I hope you're staying safe. I don't know. This Delta variant thing is trying not to stress about it. Fully vaccinated. It sounds like things are pretty rough in Puerto Rico. So we will wear masks in public. We have to prove that we've been vaccinated to go. So that'll, that's fine. Of course, still wearing masks on airplanes and all of that, no problem. But yeah, I worry about the non-vaccinated with the Delta variant, and, I don't know, it's scary. I'm ready for it to all be over, but I think it's going to be a while. So stay safe. Take care of yourself. Be good to yourself. Get some good stitching in. And I hope to see you again soon. Bye, guys.